Morning, guys. We completed fourth unit. Now, fifth unit, file system interface. The important topics of fourth unit are deadlocks and process synchronization concepts. Dining philosopher's problem, reader's writer's problem. Okay, like deadlock prevention, avoidance, detection, and recovery. These are very important and very easiest topics. And fifth unit, file system interface. It is also very small and easiest unit. File system interface. First, what is meant by file? Hope you all know the definition of a file. A file is a collection of records, and the records may contain related information. That is nothing but file. Hope you all known very well a student file, which contains all the details of a student. Employees file, it contains the details of an employees, like that. Okay, it is a collection of records, and a record may contains related information. Here the definition is a file is a named collection of related information that is recorded on a secondary storage. Okay, it is generally we call it as a technical definition of a file. One more time, a file is a named collection of related information that is recorded on a secondary storage. Files represent programs and data. We simply call it as a file is a collection of related records, and the records may contain related information. It is same as, right? Next, what are the attributes of files? Attributes. We hear that term in DBMS. Attributes or columns, right? We call it as attributes. In DBMS we call it as column names. The same name, same we call it as attributes. Here, what are the attributes of a file? A file's attributes vary from one operating system to another operating system, but typically consist of these. Okay, the attributes of the files are different or vary based upon the operating system which we use. So, depending upon the operating system, the file attributes are vary, but the most common attributes which are used for every operating system are listed here. First one, name. The symbolic file name is the only information kept in the human readable form. Once again, name. You see, you have to give a name for each and every file for better understanding of the user whoever seen that file. Simply, the symbolic file name is the only information kept in human readable form. See, you have to give one name for each and every file, because depending upon the name of the file, you have to keep the records which are related to. Suppose if I give the name of the file student, I am unable to place the records of an employees because the name of the file is student. You need to keep the records related to student. So you have to give the name of the file based upon the records or data which we have to maintain, right? Next, identifier. See, this is usually a number, identifies the file within the file system. See, it is an integer number or usually a number, means we have so many number of files, so we need to give some number related to that file. Say file 1, file 2, student file 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So you have to give a number for identifying a file among all files. This is usually number identifies the file within the file system, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Okay, that is next, type of the file. This information is needed for the systems that support different types of files. Soon we have to discuss different types of files. Okay, what are the different types of files which we use in our system? See, this is a necessary information needed to the system for store the files. Like I'm giving you .txt, .exe, .c, like that. Means what is the extension of a file, or which type of file we have to write, right? See, that says the type of the file. Hope you understand my point. I will give you detailed examples of different types of files. This information is needed for the system that support different types of files. For the purpose of supporting the system, we need to give the type of the file which we use, right? Next, location. This information is a pointer to a device and to the location of the file on the device. It's simply where you place that file. Location means before going to save a file, it asks you location. Okay, some of them are stored in some D drive or some E drive. Some of them are stored in saved in desktop, like that. So which always represents or shows the location of the file in the device. Okay, this information is a pointer to a device and to the location of the file on the device. Okay, it always points to where that particular file is stored in the device, right? Location of the device. Next, size. The current size of the file means how much memory it occupies, simply in bytes or words or blocks, and possibly the maximum allowed size are included in this attribute. Right here, size is one of the attribute. It always represent how much amount of memory occupied by that file in the form of either in bytes or words or in blocks. and it also represents, or it is better to represent the maximum size also. I mean, the file must be of maximum of 2 GB, or the file maximum of 3 GB or 4 GB, something else. And the maximum size is 4 GB, and the my size of the file is 2 GB or 2.5 GB, something. So it contains two, which those are the size of the file as well as the maximum size of the file possible to place, right? See, the current size of the file and possibly the maximum allowed size, mean we cannot allow more than that. I mean that says maximum. See, the maximum size of the file is 2 GB, mean up to 2 GB only we can, it cannot allow more than 2 GB, right? That is size. And next, protection. Access control information determines who can do reading, writing, executing, and so on. See, protection means you need to give some protection for the file, right? So it is better to give protection, because for the purpose of accessing the people who are having authorization, like it is not possible to open for all. When privacy is or protection is needed. Access control information determines who can do reading, writing, executing, and so on. So here we have to give some control information. These are the people which are possible to access, either mean reading or writing and executing or anything. I mean, you need to give some password or setting password for that file. So people who are authorized only, they are able to read or write or executing or do anything on that file, right? So that is about protection. Or simply you have to protect your file by putting a password or by putting password or security. It's like that. Next, time, date, and user identification. Time, date, and user identification. This information may be kept for creation, last modification, and last use. This data can be useful for protection, security, and usage monitoring. See, you can also maintaining the data like time, date, and user identification. See, it is better to maintain this type of information for providing protection and security. See here, this information may be kept for creation, at what time and at what date you have to create a file, and what is the last modification on the file, right? This data can be useful for protection, security, and usage monitoring. If you can maintain the data like date and time of creation of your file, as well as the last modification on that file. Okay, so if you can having that type of information, then definitely you can provide security or protection for the data, because you know at what time you have to modify that file, and at what time and at what date you have to create the file. So if any other person unauthorizedly edit the data or modify the file of the data, you can easily identify that. So that is one way of providing security for the file whatever we have, right? Okay, one more time. A file and attributes of the file. Depending upon the operating system, the file attributes are vary, but most common attributes are name, identifier, type, location, size, protection, time, date, and user identification. Okay, these are the essential and uh, all the operating systems maintaining the attributes for file. Okay. In next class we are going to discuss about file operations.